Hey guys, thank you for stopping by. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. And I hope you enjoyed this interview. All right, welcome back to the program. Now, let's get started with the economics of kidnap industry first before we move into fuel price and the downstream sector. My guest is joining me now, Ifeyinwa Antoinette Onyekwelu. She is a security analyst at SBM Intelligence. Hello, Ifeyinwa, welcome to the program. Hello, Ifeyinwa, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Thank you for having me. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear. Now, let's just get started. How endemic is Nigeria's kidnapping industry? I was speaking with my colleagues at our meeting on Wednesday, and I just said, man, this has become a business, really. That even armed robbery is not that lucrative anymore because people are now getting into kidnapping for ransom. What were some of your findings from the report? Of course, I read your report for August. Just speak us through that.
Okay, from our report, we SBM did this. The recent report we published, we found out that kidnappers are now seeing kidnapping as a lucrative business. I can say it is because of economic hardship and our security structure. We found out that kidnappers no longer target high-profile people because of the hardship in Nigeria. Anybody can be a victim. Kidnappers can kidnap anybody, provided that ransom is being paid. So they kidnap anybody. Like the incident that happened in Ikeja last year, where a girl was kidnapped on her way back from the work, and they demanded for 3 million as ransom. Finally, the family were able to, pay ransom of 200,000 after negotiation. So they see this thing as lucrative business because of the hardship in Nigeria, as long as the ransom will provide food on their table.
Isn't that now a dangerous trend? Because wouldn't it make it now more difficult to control and contain? Because you mentioned earlier that the kidnappings now we're seeing is driven by economic hardship. Wouldn't it make it more difficult to control? And I'm taking a look at your report here, even as we speak, in July, from July 2023 to June of this year, the numbers of people kidnapped and across a state. So I would like you to give us more highlights of this your report.
Yes, from our report, when you talk about the amount of people that are being kidnapped, we saw the high incidents in Zamfara, Katsina, and Kaduna. So when you talk about the amount of ransom paid, we'll find out that when you talk about in geopolitical zone, we'll find out that it's the southeast that has the highest ransom um, paid and collected. This is because they see it as lucrative business. When you talk about the northern side is more of their religious ideology. When you talk about the south, they see it as a lucrative business because of our security in infrastructure. People see it because they find out that kidnappers go away with these things and they don't have any consequences for their action. So the intending kidnappers see it as a good business to venture into, as long as they don't have.
Okay, Ifeyinwa, are you still there? Can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. In fact, from your report, you actually says it's a numbers game. For the 1 year period you guys conducted this, you were able to say that at least 1.048 billion naira was paid in ransoms for no fewer than 7,568 people kidnapped, that's abducted in 1,130 kidnap attempts around Nigeria. How little is this? Because even in your report, you said that Nigeria's kidnapping industry has become a very destructive and lethal a situation. Ifeyinwa, can you hear me? Okay. Hello, Ifeyinwa, can you hear me? Okay, okay, let's take a break and see if we can reconnect with her because the network seems to be a bit funny this morning. All right, let's quickly take this right back. How will Nigerians fare within the next 1, 2, 3 years? Can we measure perhaps life expectancy? Because now we're talking about GDP growth of 3.19%. Can we measure life expectancy, economic health, or the health of Nigerians, as it were? Do you think also that life expectancy will reduce? I mentioned it earlier that we will see even more people dying, not as a result of perhaps not so God want them, but because they don't have money to eat good food and buy medicines.
Now, coming to the issue of how do you now juxtapose this with what people feel or what people are experiencing or witness? I will give you something very interesting. You don't significantly take people out of poverty if you cannot grow, especially in the part of our world, if you cannot grow double digits or high-end single digits. By that I mean 7%, 8%, 9%, 10%. Then if you can do more than 9%, we thank God. And some studies have shown that you must do that consistently for 10 years, 15 years or more.
I think I should start from, of course, the GDP news. The GDP growth has been in the news this week. What do you think, as an economist, that what is the NES, Nigeria Economic Society, thinking about this? For me, cautiously optimistic with the 9%.
Yeah, I mean, we need to count our gains. You know, it's good that the GDP is growing. That shows that we are on some trajectory. It's also very important to look at the sectors that are growing. I'm excited personally that the oil sector continues to have this upward trajectory. Some few years, last year when I was at the MPC, I was a little bit worried because for almost 6, 7, about 5, 6 quarters, the oil cost contributed negatively to GDP. And that wasn't good enough because oil had a lot of potentials, not just in terms of the fiscal linkages, but all the direct and indirect effects it will have on the economy. So I'm excited. It's not yet huru, but the sector is picking up is good.
I want you to understand my question. A GDP growth rate of 3%, inflation rate of about 33%, as against the MPC that will be held next month.
Okay, I would go back to the issue of the growth. Okay, if I were personally to rate this report card, I think if your child or a child should move from a C6 to a C4 in his grades, it's an improvement. Okay, it's better than the previous period performance. That's why I wouldn't look at it as a bad one, and it shows the extent of resilience of our economy. It's very, very rare for an economy to have a situation where you have in just H1 in half a year, your interest rate has been hiked by 800 basis points, yet you were able to muzzle out some growth.
Was this figure of 3.19%, was it an upside surprise for you? What were you? All right, welcome back. Network is not being friendly this morning, so we will not be able to continue the conversation with Ifeyinwa Antoinette Onyekwelu, Security Analyst at SBM Intelligence. We will continue that conversation on another day, of course, because that conversation is also very necessary. The enterprising industry of kidnappings in Nigeria. So very important conversation. We'll bring you on another day. Thank you for watching. In case this is your first time watching us, thank you. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, drop your comments as well as like, and most of all, share our content.